Alright folks, today we're going to talk about our last type of transformation, which is a dilation. It's basically a transformation that produces an image that is the same shape as the original, but different size. So a dilation, we're going to put that it stretches or shrinks the original figure. Dilations are always centered around the origin, which is 0, 0, unless otherwise stated. So when it talks about what you are multiplying by in a dilation, that is called your scale factor. You should have learned about scale factors last year in math class, and usually we denote scale factors when we're talking about dilation with the symbol K. If a scale factor is greater than 1, the figure becomes larger, or you can think that it stretches. If the scale factor is between 0 and 1, which basically would be a fraction, the figure becomes smaller, or it shrinks. So if we get into our first example, it talks about a rule. It says x multiplied by k, y multiplied by k, where k represents the scale factor. So remember, this is what I was talking about. The letter k will always represent our scale factor. So if the scale factor is 3, how would you write the rule? Well, the rule would become, remember we had x comma y to begin with, and if we're multiplying each of those by a scale factor of 3, this would just become 3x comma 3y. For the next one, example 2, they gave us the vertices of triangle ABC. What are the vertices of its image with a scale factor of 4? So basically, every single value in your ordered pair, you are going to multiply by 4. Every single one. And you don't have to write this every time, I'm just showing you. So if I wanted to redo A prime, 0 times 4 is 0. 2 times 4 would give you 8. B prime, so B prime, if I do 4 times 4, I'd get 16, and for my y value, 4 times 4 is also 16. C prime, negative 1 times 4 is negative 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. So as you can see, anytime they want you to do a dilation, you are basically multiplying into each x and y value of your ordered pair. So this time it's giving me a new triangle, and now it's only being dilated by 1/2. So every single x and y value I'm going to multiply by 1/2. And I'm not going to write that every single time just because I don't have a lot of room up here. But every single x and y value you are multiplying by 1/2 or 0.5. So p prime, negative 2 times 1/2 is negative 1. 4 times 1/2 is 2. Q prime, 4 times 1/2 is 2, and once again 4 times 1/2 is 2. R prime, 4 times 1/2 is 2, and negative 2 times 1/2 would be negative 1. And remember, whenever we are dilating by a value that's between 0 and 1, which this value is, our new figure will shrink. It will become smaller than the original figure. Vice versa, just let me point this out, since we are multiplying by a value greater than 1, our figure will become, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Our figure will become larger. It'll stretch. So down here at the bottom, they just want us to graph it. So I want you to graph the pre-image, which would be PQR, and then we're going to graph P prime, Q prime, and R prime. And you're going to see that this image would be smaller than my original. So pause the video, plot these values, and press play when you're ready to check your answer, please. So you can check your work now. as you can see, the triangle in green was my original figure, and it's larger than my image after the dilation, because remember, I multiplied by a fraction, a value that was less than 1. Anytime you multiply by a value between 0 and 1, your image will always shrink. So on this page, just make sure you know a dilation, even though it won't fit in a blank, is a type of transformation that changes the size of a figure by a scale factor. So if we look here, which this is kind of blurry, but we're still going to roll with it. If we go from a, the x value of a, to the x value of a prime, negative 5 times what gives you a negative 10? Well, in this case, it would be 2. And if you look here, 3 times 2 would give you 6, and so forth. So that's how I know what my scale factor is. My scale factor would be 2. Therefore, I'm dilating by a scale of 2. And the rule that was x comma y, since I'm multiplying by 2, would just be 2x comma 2y. Based off of what I just did, I want you to pause my video and try to fill in this little box here, just like I did above. When you're ready to check your answer, press play. And as you can see here, we're dilating by a scale factor of 1/2, because if I go from this x value of negative 5 to this x value of negative 2.5, it's just half of it. So I'm dilating, I'm multiplying every single value by 1/2. So this is the rule, 1/2 x comma 1/2 y. So down here, it says for you to practice, here's my original triangle. I first want you to multiply them by a scale factor of 2, and then we're going to dilate my original by a scale factor of 1/2. So try those two for me, and you can press pause. When you're ready to check your answers, you may do so. So all I did here was multiply every single one of my values in my ordered pair by 2 for the first one. For the second one, I multiplied every single one of my values in my original by 1/2. Like I said, if you ever or you're not understanding at the moment, please see your teacher now. But remember, with a dilation, you are literally just multiplying by whatever your scale factor is. So once again, for some reason, it's a little blurry. So for this problem, I'm going to tell you what, for this triangle, A, B, C, I'm going to tell you what my original ordered pairs were. So for A, we're going to say it was negative 4, 2, B, 1, 3, C, negative 3, 6. Over here, for this triangle, X, Y, Z, X, my ordered pair would be negative 4, 1, Y, my ordered pair is 1, 7, and Z, my ordered pair is 4, 4. I want you to try to answer questions 1, 2, and 3. Do not worry about 4. So just answer questions 1, 2, and 3. Remember, when they give you the scale factor, you are literally multiplying every single value in your ordered pair by that particular number. So pause your video, and when you're ready to press play, you may do so. So if you're checking your answers, I have everything listed. Remember, for number 1, I multiplied every single term by 3, or every single value by 3. And since I'm multiplying by 3, which is a value greater than 1, this one in particular would become larger. Number 2, I multiplied every single value by 1/2. Since that is a value between 0 and 1, this particular dilation would shrink or become smaller. And lastly, for number 3, I multiplied every single thing by 2. Since it's a number greater than 1, this dilation would become larger. Alright, we are actually going to skip, we're going to skip this page and this page. Sorry, there's Maverick. Okay, and we're going to move on to this page. So I'm only going to do a few of these with you. So for example 1 wants you to find out what the scale factor would be. So my scale factor, remember, you look at just any one of your ordered pairs. So if I want to go from A to A prime, I want to get from -2 of my x value to -4 of my x value of A prime. All I'm doing is multiplying by 2. So that is my scale factor. I want you to try question 2, 3, 4, and 6. Do not worry about question 5. So right now, pause the video and try to do problems 2, 3, 4, actually, and not 6, because if you do 6, you're going to end up off the graph. So let's just look at examples 2, 3, and 4. And whenever you're ready to check your work, press play, please. So for example 2, the scale factor would be 1/3, because like I said, pick any ordered pair you want to think about. So if I think about E, to get from my x value of 3 to my x value of E prime, which is 1, I'm going to multiply by 1/3. That's why my dilation is smaller than my original figure. Example 3, pick any value you want to start with. I'm going to go from my x value right here of 6 to my x value of C prime, which is 15. And the only value that would work would be 2.5, because 6 times 2.5 gives you 15. Example 4, I chose an ordered pair, so I wrote the ordered pair of C prime. I also wrote the ordered pair of C. So I thought from C to C prime, 2 times what gives me 4? Well, my answer would be 2. A common mistake I want to tell you all is a lot of kids just always start with the outermost value, but remember, you always start with your original image, which is the ones without the prime symbols. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you understand dilations a little bit more. The rest of this packet will be for homework, so right now you can finish and start working on this. If you have questions, as always, ask your teacher and they will be ready to assist you. But remember, a dilation is just when you enlarge a value, or excuse me, enlarge a figure, and that's when your scale factor is greater than 1, or when you shrink a figure, and that's when your scale factor would be between 0 and 1, and when you do a dilation, you are always multiplying by your scale factor. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.